This tape has been copyrighted. Any duplication or reproduction without written consent is prohibited.
So let me tell you what to focus on to build a big base shop. All right? I'm going to give you 40 points to focus on to build a big base shop. First thing, right? You got to focus on recruiting at least 2 to 5 directs a month, okay? I recruited basically 3 people a month for about 6 or 7 years in a row. Direct. That I found, that I prospected, that I talked to, that I got involved, all right? That's what I did. But I also did this, okay? This is part of that. As you're recruiting these directs, you're going to be field training them, right? And as you're field training them, you're going to be recruiting people for them as well as the ones you recruit, right? So really, if you're going to build a big base shop, you have to be involved where you make it happen. You're the person, Frank, that's there making it happen, that's actually closing people, all right? Where you're recruiting 8, 9, 10, 12 people a month. You should be recruiting at least 2, 3 people a week. Not necessarily all direct, but as you're field training, you should be recruiting a couple, 2 or 3 people a week. 3 people a week is 12 people a month. It's not a lot, right? If you're on enough appointments, if you're on 7, 8, 9, 10 appointments, and you're focused on recruiting and building a team, you should be able to easily recruit 2, 3, 4 people a week. If that's what your focus is. You with me? Yep. That's what I did. I did that for years. See, a lot of people think that I'm just this sales guy. I'm the Tom Hopkins guy in Primerica. That's kind of my MO in Primerica. Well, Hector's not a recruiter. He's just a sales guy. But I had 1,533 recruits last month in my hierarchy. How many did you have? You with me? I've recruited a lot of people, 20,000, 30,000 a year for the last 5, 6, 7 years. I'm a recruiter. I've always been a recruiter. Now, I sell too. I do both. Most people just recruit, don't sell anything, right? I did both. And if you train people right, you don't have to recruit as many people if you do it right, and then you're in the right markets, right? I was recruiting married, children, homeowners, and with good credibility, and it was easy to write a lot of sales. I probably wrote 10 plus to 20 sales a month for 6 or 7 years in a row. I did that. And it was like shooting ducks in a barrel. When you're field training all these new people and they're putting you on 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 appointments a week, it's a piece of cake to write 2 or 3 or 4 transactions a week. I mean, there's many times when I'd write 10 in a week, or I'd have a day where I was training all these people on a Saturday, I might write 4 or 6 sales in one day because I had so many damn appointments going on, right? That's what I did. I did it for a long time. But you can't write that amount of business if you don't recruit anybody. Because it's too hard to get enough appointments when you're just cold calling, trying to set up appointments with people that don't know you and don't trust you. But if I got a brand new recruit, right? If I recruit Mike Mendoza, who has a lot of credibility, he's a good guy, people like and trust him, he has no problem setting up 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 appointments, and he's got credibility, he takes me to see people like him. We're going to close probably 8, 9, 10 out of 10 people we go see. It's a piece of cake to go write a bunch of transactions doing that way. But the best part of that, I'm writing the transactions and I'm teaching Mike how to do Primerica as I'm doing the transactions. It's not writing transactions for the sake of writing transactions. It's to train the new recruit. I don't think you should go write a bunch of sales so you can say, oh, look at me, I wrote a bunch of sales. That's stupid. You go write a bunch of sales because you have a new recruit sitting next to you that you're teaching, developing how to do Primerica independently of you. That's the point of doing a lot of transactions. You know, Martin, why you want to write 10 or 12 sales a month is that means you're training new people, and that now you have the chance to grow your business. If you go write 10 sales by yourself, who are you helping? Where are you growing? You make a little money, and then so now the next month you got to start over again. That's retarded. I want to be free someday, don't you? Okay? So that's one. Number 2, focus on closing 10 live sales per month through field training. This is what I'm basically saying. Look, you should be doing at least 10 if you're totally focused, if you're completely engaged, if you know you're going to be successful, right? Closing 10 sales a month should be the bare minimum that you should be doing. Daniel, you did that for years. You did 10 sales a month, 10 or more sales a month, right? I mean, you did it for years. For 5 straight years. That's the reason you're making 5 on the way to 6, on the way to $1 million, right? That's also the reason you just bought a business, right? I don't know if that's done yet or not. But the reason they wanted you to buy the business is because they see you growing and doing something, right? And so you got an added benefit not only of doing well, now you got another business and another potential income source that's going to happen because he built a business. Don't you get how that works? That's how it works. Okay? 3, you need to focus relentlessly on getting new recruits in the field in 72 hours. So look, this is just basic stuff, folks, but it's so critical that you focus on it. If I recruit Ron Morales, right? Ron, we need to get in the field like yesterday, dude. It's so important. If I'm going to talk to Ron, I'm going to say, Ron, look, you're a really sharp guy. You got a lot of credibility. Do you really want to do this? Do you want to make some big money? Do you want to really do well at this thing? Would you like to make $100 or $200 or $500 or $1 million a year at this thing? Is that something that you enjoy doing? That you would like to do? Okay, and get out of that job that's causing you so much grief? Okay, and really change your life? Then what we've got to do, Ron, is my intention is to get you to be as competent as me. The field training process, Ron, is completely devoted, right? What I'm going to devote myself is to get you during the field training process. When I go out and we go see clients across the kitchen table, the point of that is not just to make sales, it's to get you trained to know how to present, to know how to answer all the questions, to know how to recruit people, to know how to get referrals, to know how to fill out the paperwork, to know how to do every phase of the business, right? My intention is that when we get done with the field training process, that you tell me, Hector, get out of the way, you're slowing me down. I always have to call you to figure out if you have time for me. I don't need you anymore. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go field train my own people. You're slowing me down, Hector. That's my intention with the field training process, okay? So why we need to go on 10 or 15 or 20 appointments, Ron, is the more we go on, the easier it's going to be for you to know what to do and how to train the people that you bring on board, because my goal is to clone myself. You be me, okay? That's what my intention in this field training process is. It's not to write a bunch of sales. We're going to write a bunch of sales, but to recruit and build a team for you so that by the time we get done, you can go train all the people I'm going to recruit for you, right? I want you to train them. I don't want to train them. I don't have time. I got a bunch of other people. I need you to know what you're doing. So the more appointments we go on, the easier it's going to be for you to do that, okay? So let's try to go on as many as we can real fast, okay? Really fast. Let's sit down with your warm market and let's figure out who are the 10 or 15 we're going to go see like in the next couple of weeks, okay? And just tell them it's urgent, you got to meet with them, and we're doing something special, and I'll show you how to set up the appointments. Let's go see them right away. What I'm going to do, what I used to do with a new person, is I would be urgent about getting them in the field, because I knew if I didn't get them in the field, they're gone. They're out of here. They're going to quit. Okay? So I was really, really urgent, and I told them why. Because I want them to be a trainer of trainers. The point of training is not, because everybody thinks when you're training them that you're just trying to get in the warm market to make money. I don't care about that. I want to get you trained so that I don't need to work with you anymore, that you could be an independent person out there training other people, and that allows me to grow like crazy. I have no interest in just making money off of your sales. See, if you explain that to the new person, you get them to understand what you're trying to do, the purpose of it, they're not going to say, well, I'll save these clients until I get my license. That's ridiculous, right? I just want to get you trained so I can get free someday, right? I can't get free unless I have a bunch of people independent of me that know what they're doing. They're as good as me. And if they're as good as me, I'm going to grow like crazy, because let me just tell you, when you get as good as me, Ron, you're going to make nothing but money, because I close 8 to 10 out of people I see. When I sit down with the qualified family, I virtually close everybody I sit down with. I get referrals. It's easy. And I want to get you to that point where you're like me, where you can close and make money and grow your business and create the life you dream of, all right? We got to get trained, dude, all right? You understand the importance of that? Okay, let's go. See, that's what you need to do with a new person, Lynn. You need to tell them, not ask them. I didn't ask anybody. I told him this is what we're doing. And if he didn't want to do that, next. Next. I'm not going to waste any time with somebody that's not going to be coachable, because my intention is to get them to be successful, not to use their warm market to make money. You with me? But see, they've got to feel that. 4, focus on making sure the new recruit understands why you did every single thing you do while you're field training. So if I'm field training, David, right, I'm in the field, after every appointment, I'm going to make sure that we recap the appointment. I used to recap the appointment. I'd say, okay, Dave, remember how did I greet them? When I came in, I said this, right? This is what we said, right? This is what I did. You remember and then I would go through the appointment. So remember when they asked this question, I want to think about it, or I want to talk to my agent, or I want whatever they said. How did I deal with it? How did I handle it? What did I say? This is the reason I said what I said. As I was doing my presentation, this is the reason I asked this question. I was trying to elicit this response. This is what my intention was when I was doing this. And I would explain everything I did. Why? Because the new recruits watching you perform, they don't know why you're doing what you're doing. They think it's magic that you're able to get the person from here to signing the app. Right? They don't understand. I want to make sure he understands what I'm thinking about as I'm presenting, as I'm asking questions, why I responded this way, why I did what I did. I want to make sure he completely and totally understands so that when he's watching me do this, he's going, oh, he's doing what he said right there. Oh, I can see how he's doing that. Oh, that makes sense. Whoa, I can see him doing that right now. Oh, he's going to turn him around with this. And I want him to know what's going on. You with me?
Yes.
Because if he's just sitting there, I don't want him to sit in there, in awe. Oh my God, he's so good, I'll never be that good. That's death, right? I don't want him thinking that I'm so good he can't be like me. That's retarded. I want him to go, oh, I see what he's doing. That's how he did it. Oh, okay, I understand. I get it. If I just do that, I can do that too. Oh, I can do that. That's not magic. That's just technique. That's right. Simple. You can learn how to do it, Dave. Listen, when we get done, by the time we're done with our field training, Dave, you're going to be every bit as good as me. When you go see people, you're going to close. When you're field trained, you're going to close. You're going to grow a business. You're going to make a ton of money. You're going to get out of that job that you hate so much. We're going to get you in that house you want. We're going to get your kids in private school. We're going to start helping your mom and dad. I know they're on limited income with Social Security. We're going to start helping them. You're going to be able to travel. I know you want to go and travel to Israel and blah, 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 blah. And I'm selling the crap out of where we're going to go with this because he's going to get so good he's going to be able to do this thing, right? That's what I'm doing. Focused on getting him to see how he's going to be great and start to not just believe it, but to know it. You see? Okay. Focus on developing strong relations with every new recruit that does the right things. Okay, that's the little catch there. Focus on developing strong relations with every new recruit that does the right things. Okay, so if they do the right things, I got this new guy in my base shop that's relatively new, just got his license, starting to do well. His name is Jorge, right? And we were telling Jorge, I want you to listen to the overcoming objection stage 100 times. I want you to listen to it over and over and over. I want you to get to the point where you are completely a closer, man. And anybody comes with an objection, boom, you know exactly what to do. You feel totally confident, right? And guess what he's doing? He's actually doing it. I tell everybody in my base shop nobody does it, but I tell him he's doing it actually, right? Guess what he did last week? Closed 2 sales. Brand new, just got a license. So what I do? Guess what? You think I'm going to build a relationship with Jorge? Hell yes, I'm going to build a relationship. He's going to be my best bud. Why? Because he's doing what I'm telling him to do. Man, you find anybody that does that, they're like gold, man. They're like, whoa, whoo, you better protect those people. You better be going out of your way, Juan, to build a relationship with them. Even if you don't like them, you need to build a relationship with them. Okay? Right? Even if they're not their cup of tea, they're my best bud. I'm going to make him feel like a hero. I'm going to be calling him and encouraging him. And every time I see him, hey man, you're doing awesome. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited. I'm going to be sending him notes. I am going to make him feel like I am the best guy he's ever met in his life. He's going to love me. You with me? Yes. You guys don't even think about that. Because if he falls in love with you, right, he's going to want to help you get where you want to go. If he thinks you're just trying to use him to make a commission and an override and to help your own cause, he ain't going to do half of what he could do. Okay? Telling you, you better be paying attention to what I'm saying right now. I'm talking about building a big base shop and growing this thing right now. Some of you are hearing me, you're not hearing me. Some of you have been here a long time and you don't do this. Okay. 6, focus on finding the compelling reason your new recruits joined Primerica. You need to find out why they got in Primerica. Why? When you recruit somebody, one of the most important things you need to find out, if I'm talking to Jay Knott, and Jay's a waiter at this restaurant, right? That's how we met, and I get him involved, and Jay doesn't want to be a waiter forever, right? He wants to do something more. Jay, what are the top 3 most compelling reasons that you want to make a lot of money and build a Primerica business? What would they be? Think back to when you got started. What would they have been back then? Well, freedom, ownership, and a chance to build a legacy. Okay, so freedom, ownership, chance to build a legacy. Okay, so then I'm going to put that down. I'm going to write that down so that every time I talk to Jay, what I'm going to talk about? Man, when you build this thing, you're going to be so free. We're going to build a ton of people. We're going to build you an incredible business where you're going to have all kinds of office all over. That money's going to come in. You're going to have freedom. You're going to be able to do whatever you want to do, right? You're going to be able to build a legacy, man. When you build something, you're going to be able to leave that to your children, to your family, to your children's children. They're going to have a big old giant portrait of you over the mantle in every one of your kids' and grandkids' house, saying, "This is Grandpa Jay, man. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been there. We wouldn't have been able to do what we've done." You know what I'm doing? I'm going to be selling the crap out of what he wants, whatever that is. Everybody's different. I don't know what yours is, but you better find out what theirs is. And every time, you need to keep reminding them, because what? They're going to get a chargeback. They're going to get a no. They're going to get a no-show. They're going to get a person quitting on them. They're going to get dejected. They're going to have issues as they build their business. And if you can't remind them of why they're doing Primerica, they're quitting. You with me? Yes. You better find out what is their compelling reasons for doing Primerica and remind them constantly. And you better find your own out and remind yourself. Some of you guys don't know why you're doing this. You're just doing it to make a living right now. When you don't have a compelling reason, probably the best you can do is make a living here. When you have a really compelling reason, you have a chance to do something great. Okay? 7, focus on selling the spouse on achieving their dream, right? You got to talk to the spouse and find out what the spouse wants too, and remind the spouse, right? If I'm talking to Martin and Denise, right, I want to find out what does Denise really want. I want to sell Denise. Look, when you guys could stay focused, if you can get Martin to, what you need to do, Denise, is in the porch of the house, you got to put a suitcase or a briefcase, and you got to make them choose one, okay? All right, you know what I mean, right? Suitcase, if he doesn't work, and you got to get him working. And Listen, I'm going to help you guys create the dream life that you dream of, all right? I'm going to do that. And what I want you to do is I want you to call me. When he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, you call me and just say, you know what, he's been sitting around watching TV. He's not setting appointments. I want you to call me. I won't tell him you called me, but you call me and let me know what he's doing so that I can get on his butt, and I'll go, hey, man, have you been focused? Have you been watching TV too much? Have you been doing this? I'll bring up those things, right? He won't know you told me, but I'm going to get him, right? I'm going to get him moving in the right direction, right? I'm going to remind him about the dreams you guys have together. You get that partner and you lock up that partner and you build a relationship with that partner, okay? You get to know him, right? Sadhana, right? You get to tell me when he's not working and letting it, right? So I can get him going. Yeah, I know. She always tells me the truth, so I just talk to Sadhana. I know what the truth is, right? What's really going on, okay? All right. Focus on teaching your base shop the fundamentals. It's real simple. What do you work on your Saturday training, your training? It's just, these are the really simple things. You don't have to go do 20 different things, all right? There's 4 things that are really important. You got to teach them how to set appointments in their hot and warm market. You got to teach the new people how to set appointments in their hot and warm market, okay? So if you recruit somebody, the main thing you've got to do is to teach them how to set appointments in their hot and warm market. You got to get them comfortable, and you got to sit. If they can't do it by themselves, Frank, you got to sit down with them, coach them, role play until they get comfortable, and make them do it. Make them do it. You don't do it for them. I never set appointments for people. I never did that. I showed them how to do it, and I made them do it. Because if they can't do it, they're never going to be able to build a business, right? If you don't learn a fundamental how to set appointments, you can never do Primerica ever. It's not possible, okay? So you've got to teach them how to do it and get somewhat comfortable with the process, okay? The second thing is how to do a winning presentation that leads to recruit, sales, and referrals. So you've got to, look, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were telling me, I went on an appointment with one of my newer guys. It's just getting going, right? And I had him do the presentation. He was just there really to observe, and he said, he was pretty good, but he had some areas he really needed to work on. He needed to improve. I said, isn't it amazing when you start checking what people actually are doing? It's like, whoa! It's a miracle they write any business, right? It's a miracle they close anything, man. They are so bad. Right? If you were able to check everybody in your business and what their presentations look like and what they were saying on appointments, you would be shocked at how much work they need. Well, you need to make sure that their presentation's really good. The most important thing you can do, Kevin, with a new person is to make sure that their presentation's like yours, that it's good like yours, that they say the right things, they ask the right questions, they know how to present like you present. If they can present like you close how many, you go on 10 qualified appointments, you're closing 8, 9, 10, right? I mean, it's unusual. If you don't close, it's like, whoa, what happened here, right? I mean, it's like a shocker. Well, if they were presenting like you, if they could close like you, they would get the same results. Doesn't that make sense to you all? That always made sense to me. Why you guys don't put the energy to teach your people to close like you and present like you, I have no idea. I don't know why you wouldn't spend an enormous amount of energy doing that. Because that's where the rubber meets the road, right? If they're on an appointment and they can't present and close, there's nowhere for them to go, Juan. How are they going to stay in business? They've got to be able to do that. So what do? You sit down with them early in the morning, get up at 6 o'clock, help them do it. Meet them at midnight, 11 o'clock at night, show them how to do it. I don't know. Whatever time it takes to do that, you better make sure the new recruit's presentation is a butt kicker, man, that just absolutely leads to sales, referrals, and recruits. If it does that, if they can close like you, if you make sure they can close like you, you're going to grow a lot faster. You're going to make huge progress. It's how you are able to just make huge leaps and bounds when you have, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 really, really good people that can close in your base shop, that know how to present, that really know what they're doing. That's how you explode your business. You don't go, well, if they just show up to the meetings, they'll figure it out sooner or later. That's ridiculous, okay? That's ridiculous, right? That's like saying, you have kids and you go, well, if they just hang around me, they'll figure out how to be good people, right? You've got to sit them down and teach them what to do, right? You ever taught a kid how to make a bed? How do they do it first? Hey, have you ever have a young son and he's at the point where you need him to cut the grass now, right? You teach him how to cut the grass. How does he do? If you just let him do it without training him and teaching him exactly what to do, how does it look? Your hedges would be like this, and your grass would be all messed up, and right? What do? You go, look, son, let me show you how to do this. This is what you do. Look, you got to make sure, and you go and you teach them every little thing of how to do it, right? That's what you got to do in Primerica too. You can't just assume they're going to figure it out on their own, because they're not. Very, 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 very few people ever figure this out on their own. They need a lot of training and coaching, okay? And the lazy people never quite get that, because it takes energy to train people. It takes a lot of energy to train people. You got to be repetitious. You got to remind them over and over, like you do with little kids. Did you brush your teeth? Did you do this? Did you wash up? Did you take a bath? Oh, I forgot. You've told them that every year for the last 4 years, and every time you tell them, they forgot, right? You're with me? That's how people are in Primerica. You got to keep reminding people. What am I doing right now? You've all heard a lot of what I'm saying right now, but what am I doing right now? I'm reminding you. And some of you are going, God, he's right. Oh my God, I've stopped doing that. Oh, I forgot to do that, right? You know you're doing that, right? Okay, so there you go. If you guys who are RVPs, who are supposed to be the best of the best, forget, how about the new person? How much do they need to be reminded? Like constantly, okay? Constantly. All right. The third thing is prospecting. How to prospect. Look, but prospecting, I'm not worried about teaching a new person prospecting if they have a warm market. See, I don't want new people to be prospecting. I want new people to be focused on getting me on appointments in their warm market. I don't want them prospecting right now. Folks, I did almost no prospecting building my business. I know that's like people going, what? How did you do that? Don't say that. I didn't prospect that much in the traditional way that people think you have to prospect, because I recruited people. I got 20, 30 names. I took them out. I recruited people there. I got a bunch of names. I was always training people's people. I was training people I recruited. And then the prospecting I did was not like meeting people in the street or at the car wash or at the gas station. How I got people is, if I got people, let's say that I recruited Juan Jimenez, right? Well, my prospecting was, number one, to get his list together and get him set up 10 or 15 appointments in that market. That's my prospecting. Then when I go in this market, I would totally focus on recruiting 3 or 4 or 5 people. My whole intention was to recruit some people in there, try to recruit everybody, but to recruit people. So now if I recruited 3 or 4 people for you, now I've got another 80 people to go see, because you're not licensed yet, and I can go see those people, right? So that's how I prospected. And then what I did, Juan, is if you quit, then I would be your friend. I would treat treat you really great, and I would keep going back to the well, right? I'd be going back to the well. Every few months, I'd call, hey, Juan, how are you doing? How's Biv? Everything good? How's the engineering thing going? Great. Okay, fantastic. Hey, listen, man, you know I'm growing my business right now. Who do you know that's pretty sharp, that's motivated, that wants to, change your life and would like to make money and blah, 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 blah. The same thing. And I would get him to give me a name. And I would keep going to people that I knew to give me names, because then they weren't totally cold, right? Because if he gives me Martin's name and I call Martin, Martin doesn't know me from Adam. If I called Martin, my owner, I met him in a car wash or something, he's cold. But Juan recommends him. Juan and him are really tight. They're really good friends. Now all of a sudden, even though Martin doesn't know me, I have a little bit of credibility because I'm borrowing Juan's credibility. You with me? So it's not a cold call. Cold calls are like, man, it's too much work, okay? So I talked to him, I said, look, I was talking to Juan Martin, and Juan told me that, I told him I was looking to expand my business. Martin, he said you work for Frito-Lay and you're kind of a little bit, burned out on that, right? I mean, he said that I asked him, I said, look, I'm looking for people that are motivated, that have good work ethic, that have good people skills, that want to own their own business or want to make an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a month, or possibly are frustrated with their current career and they want to make $100,000 a year, Martin, $200,000 a year, Martin, $500,000 or more, right? Maybe even $1 million. And the first person he thought of was you. Do you fit that description? Are you a motivated guy? Well, great. Well, what I like to do is, I don't know what your level of interest is. It doesn't really matter right now, Martin. All I want to do is I want to sit down with you. I want to show you what I'm doing. If it's for you, great. If it's not, maybe you'll know somebody that you could refer me to. When is a good time for us to get there? Can you break away during the day for like 20 minutes or so we can have a cup of coffee? And then I'd set an appointment. That's what I did. So then I'd go meet Martin, and then I'd do the deal, right? I'd show him what we're doing and how exciting it is and what the opportunity was and how great it was and how somebody like him could be great at this. And then if he was interested, right, then all I would do is I'd say, look, the next step, Martin, is for us to meet. I need to meet with you and your wife Denise, okay? So that if you're in, you obviously have a certain level of interest. Let's show her what you'd be doing and see if she's on board and okay with that too. So when's a good day? And I'll do an F&A for you. Be free, no charge, no obligation, and then you'll have a better idea of how this whole process works, okay? So what night's good for you? I've got this Thursday, or I've got next Monday open. Which day's better? And then he gives me a day, and I set up the appointment, and I go see them. I didn't invite him to an op night. So this is where you all make a mistake. You meet with somebody and then you invite them to an op meeting. That's dumb, all right? I don't want to invite him to an op meeting. I want to go meet his wife and close them on doing the business. At a minimum, I want to make him a client, but I want to close him. I don't want him coming to an op meeting. I want to go close his wife before. And then after I close his wife, right, then I'll bring him to an op meeting and go, look, we're for real. We have an office. We've got a professional thing going on. That's when I would bring him to the op meeting. I wouldn't go to the interview and then get him to the meeting. You do that. You now, if he's not interested, you don't get to do business. You don't get to meet his wife. It's dumb. All right? Plus, not to mention, Martin's home mortgage information, his investment information, his life insurance information, his address book with referrals is all at his house. It's not at my office. What do I want to meet him at my office for? You with me? Everything that would allow me to continue to grow my business and get more referrals is at his home. It's not in my office. I don't want them at an op meeting. I want to go close them, because I can close somebody one-on-one way better than I can close them in an op meeting. Right? Then I bring them to the op meeting. Now, if you're brand new and you don't know how to do this, then you got to bring people to the op meeting. Right? The brand new people, they've got to bring people to the op meeting because they can't sit down and do the whole presentation. That's why you got to teach people how to do a great presentation so they can close people in people's homes. Am I making any sense to you people? Okay? Man, you look like you're deer in headlights right now. Okay. And then the last thing is how to overcome the most common objections. If I can teach Juan how to overcome all the most common objections, is he more probable to stay in the business or less probable? More. Because the only thing that stands between a person making money and being successful is their ability to overcome the most common objections that come up when you're doing our business. Like, I'm too busy. I want to think about it. I already have an agent. Whatever, right? I'm not a salesperson. There's a bunch of stuff that people say. If you can't overcome those very common objections, you can't stay in Primerica. Because they're going to come up. It's a pyramid, right? All that stuff. If you don't master how to overcome those, it's only a matter of time before you're out of business. Those things drive people out of Primerica. because they don't know what to say, so they don't get results, and they go, oh, I'm not good enough at this. I can't do this. That's what happens. You've got to teach people what to say in terms of overcoming those objections. You've got to learn them, Lewis, okay? And then you've got to teach the new people. Look, it's going to come up. They're going to say it's impairment. They're going to say, I want to talk to my agent. They're going to say I'm too busy. They're going to say all these things. This is what you say when that happens. This is how you do it. Make sense? Yep. Just get the overcoming objections CD and have them listen to that 100 times and they'll get it, all right? Even if you're too lazy to do it yourself. Okay, number 9. Focus on recognizing every single thing a new recruit does. That moves them in the direction of building their business. Now, when anybody does anything, you've got to recognize them. Okay? You've got to recognize every little move in the right direction. Anytime anybody does anything that's a move, they set an appointment. Wow, unbelievable, great job. Man, that's fantastic. I'm so proud of you, right? If they close a sale, no matter what it is, you're so good, it's amazing how good you are. You're gonna be a superstar. Right? You got to constantly be recognizing any behavior. You got to call them when you talk to them on the phone. They do something. Jose, awesome job, fantastic. Yesterday you did a great job on that, and you're going to be a giant at this thing, or whatever. Right? Whatever they do, you've got to do that all the time. You can never do it enough. If you're married to a woman, right? How often do they need to hear "I love you, honey"? Huh? I don't know about you. I've been married 28 years. My wife asks me 20 times a day if I love her. Okay? It's today, still, right? You sure? I'm sure. I love you. You're awesome. You're the best. I could tell her 24/7. It wouldn't be enough. Okay? You with me? Okay? That's what you need to do with a new, not tell them you love them, but you got to tell them how good they are, okay? You got to constantly be recognizing, making them feel like they can do it. You've got to become a master of recognizing the right behavior. You've got to look for every little thing, Martin, they do and recognize it and make them feel special about it. You cannot do it enough. It's not possible, right? Every phone call, every go solo, every chance you get, you've got to tell them that they're doing great, that you're proud of them, that you're excited. You've got to be more focused. You've got to recruit some direction. But man, are you doing a great job. You're growing. Every time I see, every month that goes by, it's amazing how much better you are than the last month. It just impresses me to no end. Man, when you spoke Saturday, you just tore it up, man. I just saw a future RVP who's going to be a giant speaking. That was amazing. You blew me away. That is awesome. I am so excited to be working with you. Lewis, man, you are so competitive. The job you're doing right now, the growth you have, the focus you have is unbelievable. That's going to lead to superstardom for you. You just do what you did in soccer here. You got that same kind of focus. I can see it already coming. I can see it happening right now. You are going to kick some major big time, but you're going to be one of the dominating leaders in the base shop. It's just a matter of time. I can see it happening. I am so excited to be working with you. I love working with people like you. You're a winner. You're my kind of guy. You're the kind of person I want to be in a foxhole with. I love working with people like you. We are going to do something great. We are going to travel the world together. We're going to do some amazing things together. We're going to see everything. You're going to do it. You know how you want to take care of your parents who are not doing so well and your sister? You're going to be able to do that. I'm going to help you do that. We're going to do that together. It's going to be amazing. You're going to walk off stage as an RVP. Your family's going to be there. They're going to be so proud of you. You're going to be able to take care of them and do everything you promised. I know that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. You stay with me. We're going to do something big together. Do you talk to people like that? I don't think you do. That's how I talk to people. That's what I say. You do that all the time? You better start doing it all the time. You can't do it enough. I'm telling you, you cannot do it enough. You can't. Not possible. You start doing that, you get people thinking and get that energy like that going. Some of you go, well, you know, they don't really deserve it. They're not really doing all of that. Well then, you know why? Probably because you make them feel like crap all the time. Okay. Focus on keeping in close contact with your new recruits, especially through their licensing and field training. You got to really keep in contact. You recruit new people, you got to stay on touch with them. You got to call them every couple of days. You got to say, how's it going? How's school going? We're going to get on those appointments. We got to get those appointments done. You got to stay in contact with them, because if you don't stay in contact with them, you got to get them through the licensing process. Man, that's the toughest part, is getting somebody staying in contact. They got to know that you care about them, Rhonda. They got to know that you're thinking about them, that you're going to be there for them. Yes, it's tough. Yeah, I know it's boring. Okay, no problem. But once we get through that, we're going to start getting this thing rocking for. We're going to build you a business. You got to keep them going. You got to stay in contact. You got to get them. If they don't get licensed, Rhonda, what good is the recruit? They're no good if they don't get licensed. So how do you get them licensed? You stay in contact with them. You let them know you care about them. You let them know you're going to help them get what they want. You find out what their compelling reason. You keep reminding them. You let them know that this is going to be the place that you're going to help them. Okay? Stay in contact with new recruits. Look, it's not like you're recruiting so many people that you can't stay in contact with the new people, right? Come on. Most of you don't recruit anybody. How could you not stay in contact with them? It's ridiculous. Focus on developing your leadership skills, all right? This is really important. Look, you've got to become a leader of men and women if you're going to do something big here. You've got to lead men and women. That's what this whole thing's about, leadership. Didn't you guys notice that yet? Look, you've got to become a leader. What is a leader? Look, this is what you should do. There's 3 books that I think you should read. There's a bunch more, but these are 3 really, really good books that you need to read in the first half of this year, okay? The first one is 177 Secrets of the World Class. If you've already read it again, okay? The second book is, there's 2 by the same author, Developing the Leader Within You and Developing the Leaders Around You. Those 2 books are phenomenal books by John Maxwell, all right? Read those 3 things. 177 Secrets of the World Class by Steve Siebold, S-I-E-B-O-L-D, and Developing the Leader Within and Around You. There's 2 different books by John Maxwell. Read those books. Learn what a leader does so that when you get in a situation, right, with people, and you got to think, what would a leader do? And then you'll know instinctively what to do, how to do it correctly so that you get the best possible result, okay? You need to get prepared. If you've never led a group of men or women before, guess what you need to do? It doesn't mean you can't do it. You just have to learn how to do it. That's all. Right? You just got to learn how. What would you do? What would a leader do in this situation? Number 12, focus on competing, not comparing. Kurt talked about this. Somebody said that's really true. I was always focused on competing, right? I competed. I wanted to win, but I never compared myself with anybody else, right? I didn't worry about what everybody else did. You know, people come into business with all different kinds of sets of skills, right? You look at Rick Susie. Man, if you compare yourself with Rick Susie started the business. I recruited him. I recruited him in May of '86. He got his license, a month or so later. He went full-time the day he got his license. He left a $70,000 a year job. The day he got his license, he quit that job. $70,000. This was in 1986. He was making $70,000. He quit that job, went full-time, right? And his first full year as an RVP, which was '87, he made $232,000. Okay? Well, you go, oh my God, that's unbelievable. How could you even do that, right? Well, what you don't know is that for 12 years before that, he was recruiting and training salespeople in the jewelry business and managing salespeople for 12 years. And he was a closer extraordinaire, right? He could close. Matter of fact, you know what I had to do to field train? I went on 3 field training sales with him. I trained a bunch of his guys up in Sacramento, but other than training 3 people for him, right? I never field trained anybody for Rick. 3 people. I went on 3 appointments with him. He said, okay, I'm done. I understand. I got it. Get out of the way. That's what happened. I'm serious, okay? Because he was a closer. He wasn't afraid of hearing no, and he knew how to talk to people, so he just got great results. But see, if you compare yourself to Rick, he had 12 years of experience of doing that. You come from a different background. I mean, Lynn, you're a school teacher. You didn't know anything about closing people, presenting, training salespeople. What did you know about that? Not a damn thing, right? You've had to learn that since you've been here. Okay, so now you're about where he was after 12 years of that. So now you're ready to explode. Now you're ready to go kick some big-time butt, right? Now you're ready. That's the way you have to look at yourself. You know, Joe, you were a school teacher, right? Or administrator, whatever, principal. What did you know about training salespeople and overcoming objections and dealing with rejection and all that kind of stuff? Nothing. You didn't know a damn thing about that. You had to learn it here. You with me? Right. So give yourself a break, all right? You've had to learn how to do this, okay? But now you know how to do it. Let's go get something done now, right? Don't compare. You should start competing, all right? Focus on growing every month. One of the things you've got to do is you've got to focus on growing. I was talking to Rick yesterday. I was driving home from the desert. I was in traffic. It took me like 4 hours to get from Palm Desert because I forgot it was a holiday. I don't even know what holidays are anymore because every day is a holiday for me. So it was a holiday, and I didn't realize there was going to be all this traffic. So I'm driving. I'm on my phone for 4 hours talking to everybody all over the country, right? So I talked to Rick for about a half hour on the phone yesterday on the way home. And when we were talking about, this is what we always focus on. He and I have always focused on growing. We don't know how we're going to. We just focus on doing better this month. He goes. I beat last year by this much, and that I'm going to make sure I beat it. And we talked about beating last year. That's what we talked about. How we're going to beat last year. How we're going to grow over last year. Because that's what we've been focused on since the late 870s. Focus on growing. When we were in the jewelry business, we would come into the store every day. This is where we learned this, okay? Most of you don't understand this concept because you come from jobs and businesses where growing is not important. You just do your job and you're happy. But in the sales business, you've got to grow. You've got to do more today than you did yesterday, more this month than last month. You've got to focus on growing, Adrian, your business. You've got to grow your business. You've got to look at your numbers, know what they are, and grow your doggone business, okay? So we would go in the store every day, and I'd look at my numbers. The first thing I would do when I got into my store in the morning, right, or whenever I got into the store, right, I'd open up my book, the book of the numbers, right, and I would look at, okay, what's today? What's the date? 21st of February. So I'd go to the 21st of February, 2005, right? And I said, we did $3,000 in sales that day. So our goal was to grow 20%. So the goal was 3,600. That was the goal. So from the minute I I go on the sales floor, all I'm thinking about all day long is to do at least 3,600 or more in business. 3,600, we've got to do 3,600. Then what am I doing, man? I'm looking through the layaways, calling up the layaways, saying, listen, hey, Danny, did you call that layaway? When is that person going to come in and pick up their thing today? What's going to happen? And I'm trying to create business, makes things happen. People walk in the store, and they come in to go make a payment. I go, hey, John, hey, Mary, how are you? Let me get that for you. I get their payment book, and I see they bought something for $1,000. They only owe $200. They have $800 left. Then I go, hey, listen, if you're going to buy something, what would you buy? Would it be a wedding set? Would it be this? Would it be that? And I would create a sale and try to. I knew I could make a sale of $800 without nothing down, and I would make sale happen. Man, I was like a raving maniac trying to figure out how I can get my 3,600 that day. You with me? Yes. Not tomorrow, today. So you go, today wasn't good. I'll try more tomorrow. You can't do that in sales, Juan. Today is all you got. Today. You got to make something happen today. And you got to grow. You may think, I don't know if I like these. He's a little too intense for me. Look, you want to get rich or you want to be like everybody else? You better get intense if you want to get rich, okay? Because you ain't going to get rich not being intense. I'm telling you that right now, okay? You can't be a little pansy. Oh, that's a little too much for me. I'm just going to scare people away. Look, we're not going to scare the right people away. Ever. Ever. Okay? Okay. Focus on creating when things are flat. When things are flat, if you're flat right now, what do you have to do if things are flat right now? Mike, right? Things are a little flat right now, right? What are you going to do? You're going to roll up? You're going to get in the fetal position and have Susan call me and say, look, he's in the closet, in the dark closet, in the fetal position. Can you come and help me? Because he can't, right? Because it's flat? No. What are you going to do? Right. Nonstop. You're on a phone. You're making, because you know if you make enough calls, something good's got to happen. You're not going to wait for it to come to you, right? Because it ain't coming for you. And you can't count on your guys, because if you count on your guys, you'll go broke, right? Right? You know that. You figuring that out? Okay, good. See, you can't count on your people, right? What you got to do is go get it done and excite them through your example. Right? That's what you do. You got to take away their excuses is what you've got to see. If he would go start recruit 3 or 4 or 5 directs a month and start doing 10, 15, 20 grand in premium through that and doing maybe $1 million in loans and just start killing it and making a ton of money, his guys would go, oh, I thought he needed me. Oh, I can't control him anymore. Oh, shoot, I guess I better get going because he's going to leave me in the dust. That's right, you idiot, right? See, that's what I used to do. When somebody wasn't going, I made it happen, Martin. I didn't wait for my guys to get going and hope they would help me go RVP. Okay. Focus on finding a new rabbit. See, what you need is a new rabbit, right? Most of you don't have a new rabbit. You got to find you a rabbit. You got to find you multiple rabbits. Okay? What is a rabbit? A rabbit, if you ever saw dog racing, what do? They get a fake rabbit on this arm, right? And it goes around the track, and they let the dogs out, and the dogs think it's a real rabbit. And what do the dogs do? They chase the rabbit, right? It's not even a real rabbit. They still chase it, right? That's what a rabbit is. So what a rabbit is, Juan, is you find you a new winner, a new great new person that has a good warm market, a lot of credibility, and what you tell them, this is what I used to do. If you were that person, let's say that you're in my base, I recruit you, right? And I know you, engineer, great wife, a lot of credibility, grew up in the area, has a huge warm market list. I would sit you down and say, look, I'm going to make you my rabbit, Juan. All right, let me explain what that is, okay? See, in order to get the rest of the people going, they need somebody that's just starting to take off like crazy so they can get going. Because if you just leave them alone, right, they won't do anything. But if they have a new person that just got started and all of a sudden starts recruiting a bunch of people, closing a bunch of sales, they'll start moving. Because if I tell them to do it, they'll think I just want to make money off them, right? But if I just get somebody and get them going, they'll start going even with me not saying anything. And I want you to be the rabbit. So what I'm going to do is I want to go out, and this first month, my goal would be to close 10 sales with you, recruit 4 or 5 people for you, get you promoted to a district leader, get you making money, do a couple of loans, really get things going for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to use those numbers so that when you start recruiting people, and everybody we recruit, we're going to say, look, this is what Juan did his first month. His first month, he closed 10 sales, he recruited 5 people, he did a couple $100,000 in loans, he did an incredible job, and this is what you need to do when you get started. So you get to talk about your start for the rest of your career in Primerica. But if you do nothing, you go, I'm just going to go to school and I'll get started 60 days from now. How are you going to get a new person going, this is how I started. I went to school, I took it easy for 60 days. Was that going to excite anybody? No. Plus, what I'm going to do is on Saturdays, right, if we're kicking butt, I'm going to make you here. I'm going to bring you, man, you can't believe what Juan did. He closed 3 sales this week. He recruited 2 people. He's the next superstar. He's going to be an RVP. And then once we're recruiting these people for you, right, they're going to be sitting in the audience. They're going to go, oh, my God, I'm on the right team. I'm on a studs team. I'm so lucky. And then we're going to take that energy and we're going to build you an awesome business fast, okay? That's where were you with me? Will you be my rabbit? All right, let's go. Let's get your list together. Let's figure out who we can go close the most sales with right away, all right? That's what I used to do with a new person. I would make them the rabbit, and they would know it. You with me? Yes. When was the last time you had that conversation? Never. You with me? Did you get that, Jay? Yeah. Are you going to use that? See, because you all think, Hector doesn't know what it's like today. It was back then when he did well. He doesn't get it. It's harder today. That's BS. You're thinking screwed up. You're thinking like a weenie. Okay. Focus on making and save. You got to make money, guys. You got to make money and save money, man. You got to make money and save money. Let me just tell you something, man. When I started growing my business, I saved money. I saved a lot of money, man. I was making a lot of money. My budget was so low, it was ridiculous, okay? Even I look back and go, God, I can't believe my budget was so low, but it was low, man. I had a house payment was $1,200 a month. I had a $200 car payment, and I had no debt, and I was making like 30 grand a month, 50 grand a month, 70 grand a month, 80 grand a month with a budget like that. I was making a lot of money, and I put off buying a big house and all that for a long time. Everybody was wanting to spend my money, and I said, no, you idiots, I'm trying to get financially independent. I'm not going to buy me a big house and not be financially independent. My goal was to get financially independent, and I saved me $1 million in 5 years. Okay? I totally focused on that. You know why? Because I wanted to have the money set aside so no matter what anybody did, I could say, hey, whatever if you don't want to, get out of here. I'm not going to deal with you. You're an idiot, okay? I wanted my you money. You know what I'm talking about, right? And so that's what I did. I focused on getting financially independent. And folks, I'm telling you, what's amazing about that is that the more that people can realize that you don't need them, the more they'll do. Look, I don't need to make any more money. I had my best month ever in January. I had a horrible month in my base shop. I had a horrible base shop month last month. I did, okay? But I had my best income January in my career last month, even though my base shop sucked. Is that awesome? Yeah. Right? Because it doesn't matter. When you have money, it just starts flowing in. I don't know what works that way, man, but I am a money magnet. That's what happens. Save your money. Frank, you start making money, have your number one focus to save money. Don't go buy you a big house and a Mercedes-Benz and all that retardedness, okay? Get yourself where you have like a few $100,000, $1 million in cash, and everybody tries to spend your money, say, You go, hey, you want to be impressed? Look at this mutual fund statement. That'll impress your butt right there. Because if you understand the rule of 72 at 12%, man, this 500 grand is going to be $1 million in 6 years, right? And in 12 years, it's going to be $2 million. In 18 years, it's going to be $4 million, right? And then I'm done. You with me? Yes. See, that's how I used to do it. That's what I used to talk about. Look, because there's nothing like having a lot of cash. Boy, I'm telling you, it is awesome, right? It is awesome, okay? It is so freeing, so liberating, right? It doesn't matter. Jan says, she's telling me, wow, you're different. I said, I'm not worried about anything anymore. I'm just having fun. My golf game is going to get a lot better, okay? All right, good. Focus on being on the leaders bulletin. You got to focus on being on the leaders bulletin every month, okay? You got to get on that leaders bulletin. All right? Joe, you got to get on that leaders bulletin. Martin, you got to get on that leaders bulletin. You got to be one of the top RMs in the state and in the country. Juan, you got to get on that leaders bulletin. Jose, you got to focus on getting on the California leaders bulletin and then the national bulletin. Same thing with you, Louis. Ken, you got to get on that leaders bulletin. Okay, Lynn, you got to get on that leaders bulletin. Dave, you got to get on that leaders bulletin. You can get online, print the leaders bulletin every month, see who's doing what at your category, and start focusing on you being on that leaders bulletin and start knocking people off. Adrian, you got to get up on top on that leaders bulletin. All right, you're still an RVP, right? You should be focusing on being the number one paid RVP in Primerica, being the number one RVP base shop in Primerica. That's what you should be focusing on. Grow. Get on that leaders bulletin. Start winning, okay? Because you can sell that at your meetings. You can sell that. Get your team excited about getting on the leaders bulletin and start competing on that leaders bulletin, Mike. Get that thing going, all right? Okay. Focus on dominating at every level, no matter where you are, right? If you're a brand new rep, be the top rep. If you're a district leader, then you need to focus on being the top district leader. If you should have a goal to go out to the next level at the top at each level, because you get to talk about that for the rest of your career in Primerica. If you focus on that, you get to talk about that, right? Focus on being number one in your category. Focus on that. Focus on number 17. Focus on getting results so you can take away everyone's excuse. This is what's really important. Why do you need to go close a bunch of sales, Alan? Why do you need to recruit a bunch of people direct? Why? Because you need to take those people that are whining and complaining about their situation. You got to say, what are you talking about? I just closed 4 sales this week. I recruited 2 new studs. I closed a $250,000 home loan. I made 10 grand last week. What are you talking about? Get off your butt. Let's go. You're not talking to enough people. You need to get busy. You're not working hard enough. You're not focused enough. You need to make more phone calls. You need to call back all your old clients and get some referrals. You need to get busy. There's no excuse not to make money here in Primerica. Man, there's millions of people out there broke and needing more to make more money. They need life insurance. They need to save money for retirement. They need to get out of debt. Man, there's no shortage of people. You need to get busy, Rick. Get busy. Let's go. Let's go see some people. But if you're not doing it, you can't do that. See, you don't have any credibility, right? See, you know, like how gangsters, you know what they do? They do stuff to get credibility on the street, right? Yeah. Don't they? Like, their place, it's bad. They shoot people, right? But that's what they do. The reason they do those bad things is so that they get a certain credibility on the street. Guess what? We have a more positive version of that in Primerica. Okay? And that's doing big numbers, right? If you can go out and do 10 sales, 3 or 4 or 5 recruits, just kill it, right? That's where you get. That's what you did, Daniel. You built your credibility. So when you can talk to your guys, man, 10, you should be able to lose 10. So if you were doing 1 or 2 and telling everybody they got to do 10, they'd go, "What are you talking about? You're such a hypocrite." That's what they'd be thinking about you. They'd be thinking all you want them for is to make money on them. They never say it, but that's what they think. They're watching your numbers. They watch how much you do. You don't think they're watching you? They're totally watching you. And so the other problem, too, is when you're not doing it, you don't feel like you can be direct with people and talk to people about what they need to do, see? You're always holding back. But when you're busting it, you're doing everything you've got, you're writing tons of sales, recruiting tons of people, you have no compunction at all. You have no problem telling people exactly what they need to be doing. That's what I did for years, folks. I was so in your face. When I was building a big base shop, it was ridiculous, okay? I didn't cut anybody slack, but you know what? I was doing it, right? I was on it. I was making it happen. I wasn't talking about what I thought they should do while I was sitting in my office with my feet on my desk. I was doing everything I was telling them to do and more. That's what you got to do, Dave, okay? All right. Focus on we already did that. Focus on being the most productive person, which is the same thing. You got to be the most productive, man. You have a goal to have the most recruits, the most sales, the most everything. Okay, that's what my goal was. Did I do it every month? No, but I did it a lot though. Okay, I was always focused on beating everybody in my base shop. I used to have contests all the time. If you beat me this month, if you write more sales than me, you recruit more people, I'll take you to lunch anywhere you want to go. You have no chance of beating me, Dave. You see this little part of my little pinky right here? I got more want to in this little part of my pinky than you got in your whole body, buddy. You have no chance of beating me. You understand that? You know, when I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about it. When I go to sleep, I'm dreaming about it. Every minute of every day, I'm focused on getting it done, folks. And unless you get that, you have no chance to beat me. You better bring your lunch, buddy. I used to do that to people, just like that, talking crap like crazy, okay? But then I would go do it. See, I wouldn't say it and then not do it. Then I'd go, holy shit, I said that, I better get busy. I don't go on the phone. I mean, calling people like crazy, trying to, but I would put myself out there, and then that would make me do it. You with me? See, a lot of you don't ever say what you're going to do or what you should do because you go, oh, mind if I do it, then I have to do it, and they're going to hold me accountable. So you never, ever say anything. You're always afraid to confess what you're going to do. I was always confessing what I was going to do. Always confessing. Always putting it out there. Always saying this is what I was going to do. Did I do it all the time? No, but I worked my tail off to do it. And because of that, I was always growing. I was always doing better. You with me? That's what you got to do. You got to get your team, and you got to get some competition going. You got to push them a little bit, right? Let's go. Haven't you guys ever done anything competitive in your life, right? Man, I played sports my whole life, man. It was trash talking nonstop in every sport I played, right? I mean, if you were weak, they'd just run all over your butt, right? You can't do that. You got to grow some, right? Okay. 21. You've got to be focused on being the most positive, optimistic person you've ever met. So your intention should be to be the most positive, optimistic, forward-looking person that anybody's ever run into in their life, man. That when they meet you, they go, oh my God, can you believe how positive he is? That's unbelievable. He's so optimistic. Because you know what that does is people love being around people like that. People love when the energy's good. You with me? When you see something going, if you're like, oh, can you believe what happened? Can you believe what Bush is doing now? Can you believe what this is doing? Can you believe? No, who wants to be around that talk, man? Nobody wants to be around that, right? They want to be around. Can you believe where we're going to go? We're going to dominate. We're going to kick some butt. Nobody knows who we are right now. You know, Juan calls me the other day and says he had this emergency meeting, right? He had 6 people show up, right? And you know what that reminded me of? When I first was like where you're at, and I was not an RVP yet, and I'd have an emergency meeting in my office, and there'd be like 4 of us in my office. Literally, right? And I was talking to like it would be like George Verdugo and like a couple of people that were back then, right? And I would be talking to them about, man, we're going to kick some butt, we're going to dominate. Right now, nobody knows us, but we're going to do something big. And then, you follow me, we're going to get there. You can count on me. And I would be selling it like I was making millions and had a gigantic business, and we were just getting it going, like you, right? But I was selling the vision all the time of what we were doing and where we were going, and how it was going to be when we got there, and getting people excited about being part of my team, and letting them know they can count on me, that I was a person of accountability, that I would get it. I was going to get it done come heck or high water. And I got them believing me, because why? Because I said it enough, right? I said it over and over and over and over again. I got them believing it, and then we started doing it, and then we started growing, and all of a sudden, they got the momentum going, and they're going, hey, he's right, man. We are doing some incredible things, right? And that's what happens. Where are we at? 22. Focus on the target where you ultimately want to be. See it. This is important. Focus on the target where you ultimately want to be. See it vividly with emotion as if you were already there. Okay. One of the things that I did is that I was always seeing where I was going. I remember walking into, this was right the first year I got started, and Mike Sharp had this big Christmas end-of-year event, and it was a December, and the year I got started, in 1984, he had this thing at the Anaheim hotel, right by Disneyland right there. And this is in the big auditorium. There's like 3,000 people there. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I walk into that room, right, and Mike's up there talking or whatever, right, doing recognition, and I was just getting started. I was still like, maybe I was a district leader at that time. I walk in there room, and all I could think of, I didn't go, oh my God, this is impressive. I went, I can see myself doing this. I can see, and I'm right there in the back of the room. I'm visualizing myself. I'm sharp, right? I'm Mike in front of the room with my 3,000 people, talking to them. And I was always seeing it before it happened in my mind. And then I was feeling how it would feel to be up there and how excited I would be and how, like just so optimistic. And I know you do that, right? I would see myself being him up there in front of that room. I didn't go, oh, that's impressive. I could never do that. I was visually seeing and feeling me being in that position. You with me? Winning the trophies, being the number one guy, doing all the things that I thought I could do, right? And then I just saw it every day when I was driving, like all over God's creation and you know how you do, right? You guys are doing everywhere, right? In traffic and stuff. I would be seeing where I was going to go so that I was doing this. This was a means to an end. This wasn't the end. The driving and traffic and going on these appointments and all this stuff that you have to do was just the means to get to that place. And I knew that this was temporary. You with me? I was seeing it and feeling it, right? You've got to see it and feel it in your mind's eye before it can happen. That's what I did. I did it really vividly. I visualized the homes I was going to buy on the desert, on the golf course, and all that stuff that I ended up doing, right? I saw it very, very clearly in my mind's eye, and you've got to see that. 24, focus on them. Who's them? Your people. Focus on them, their success, and getting them where they want to go. So if I recruit you, right, if I recruit somebody, right, my number one goal, if I recruit Jachinder and Sadhana, my number one goal is to help them get what they want. I am not worried about me. I'm not worried about me winning a contest. I'm not worried about me going on the trip. I'm not worried about me getting my bonus. I'm only worried about them getting what they want. Because if I can help them get what they want, if I can help Dave, if I can help Ramon get what he wants, if I can help Daniel get what he wants, if I can help them get what they want, if I can help Rick get what he wants, I'm fine. I'm going to be taken care of. I really understood that principle. That's a principle, by the way, that if you really get it. See, most people never believe that. They think it's about them, right? But really it's about your ability to help other people that allows you to do well in Primerica. Because I've been so giving with my time and my energy to help people, I've been able to have a huge amount of success. I have been very, very, very unselfish, right, with my time and my energy over the last 20-some years, okay? And I've helped a lot of people. People in my business, people not in my business. I've never really cared about that, but I've always had this intention to help people, help them grow. I get calls. You cannot believe how many Go Solos I get every day from people all over the place asking for help or having a situation. And it's amazing. It's a huge number, right? And I call people back. I respond to every Go Solo. I do. And so what happens, like this guy calls me the other day and he goes, you're the fourth top leader I've called. You're the only one that called me back. How could you not call people back? It's the rudest thing ever from people who call you don't call them back, especially in a timely manner. I think it's ridiculous that you don't call people back, right? It's crazy, right? These are people that are needy, that are needing help. They're wanting to win. They're reaching out, right? And they just want a little encouragement, maybe a little you can do this or do that, and you're going to be great. Don't worry, stay. That's all they're wanting. They're wanting some hope, right? And imagine you don't call them back. It's bad. Right? And then your people, some of you don't call your people back. Oh my God. They're your future. You call them back. Help them. They're just wanting, if they're calling, they're reaching out, right? The least you could do is just respond and encourage them and help them. The least you can do. Come on. All right. Focus on selling the dream constantly. Always remind them how great it's going to be when you get there together. Remind them of all the wonderful things they will be able to do for their family and them. All right, that's what you should be talking about. Talk about the future. I was constantly talking about how it was going to be when we got there. Always talking about that. Man, it's going to be awesome when we're all making big money and we're able to, travel here and go there and do this and, to be able to take care of our families and to, all this stuff. You should be talking about that. Talk about it all the time. Talk about the future. Talk about how it's going to be when you get there and how awesome it's going to be and how great it's going to be, like Art used to say, not to be average and ordinary, but like everybody else and quit and give up before you get there. I mean, talk about it. Because, folks, for those people, those of us back then who stayed on track, so many of us made it. Look at all these people and are making it. Rick made it. I was talking to Rick. Rick just built an 8,000 square foot house. His neighbor is Celine Dion. She lives like 3 houses away from him, right? The guy that's the head of the IRL, which is a NASCAR thing, he lives across the street from him, right? He's got the guy, the people that are the heir to the UPS fortune. The guy that built my house in Las Vegas is building their house. Lives across the street from him. All these people, it's incredible. I mean, it's unbelievable what happens. He's able to do things. He was talking about how he's been able to help his dad. He bought his father a house, and he's helping his brother out. His brother's struggled a little bit. He's been able to help him out. He's been doing this and that, and all these things he's done. And you don't understand. Rick is the tightest person on the planet Earth. Okay, I mean, when he takes a nickel out of his pocket, man, that guy's going like this, rubbing his eyes, right? And he is really tight. And you know what he's doing, man? He's being really generous. And it's just awesome because he's rich now, right? And the Youngers, you know what the Youngers have done for all kinds of people. It's unbelievable, right? I mean, that's just awesome, incredible. And a lot of you are doing stuff like that, are able to do things that you couldn't have done otherwise, right? It's going to be great when you get there, believe me. Focus on stirring up the competition. Let them know who's winning and recognize the winners in a big way at every opportunity. What you've got to do is you've got to constantly, especially in your base shop, you've got to be lifting up the people that are kicking. Like right now, Juan Jimenez is doing the best job in my base shop, right? He's just kicking butt. He is. He's going to be, based on what's happening in the last couple of months, he's the next big thing in my base shop, right? And now Martin's sitting there saying, I don't know. Lynn's going, we'll see. Well, right now, they're it, okay? They're the one. They're doing a great job. Jose's doing a great job. So is Lewis is doing a great job. And everybody else is behind them right now. So, I mean, I don't know if they're going to get going or not, but they're doing the best job. You guys are awesome. You guys are doing, I think that you're the next best thing. I think you want it more than everybody else right now. I don't know about the Bursinos. They're just kind of like hanging back, hoping, checking things out right now. I don't know, Lynn, I don't know about Lynn. Lynn's got the potential, so does Martin, but, I don't know, These guys are doing the best. They're the best right now. They're the top dogs. They're our superstars. So they know exactly what I'm doing, and it still works. It still works. Right? Doesn't it, Martin? Doesn't it make you like a little bit, right? See, what I'm saying is you got to do that. You got to do that. It doesn't even matter if they know what you're doing. It doesn't matter. For a competitive person, it still works. Okay? You got to create some little competition, get things happening, right, in your business. Focus on exploding your meeting attendance. Look, if you're going to get big, you got to explode your meeting. Like our meeting attendance today is just pathetic, okay? But you know what? This is over. For me, this meeting's already done anyways, okay? It's based on what we did before. The next month, we need to have a big turnout at the RVP meeting, right? We got to explode the RVP meeting. We got to explode our op nights. Tonight's an op night for some of us, right? Or Wednesday or Thursday, right? You've got to focus on getting that op night attendance up, Frank. You've got to get a lot of people there, right? If you're going to grow, you got to get your op night meeting attendance up. You cannot grow without having more people every week at your op night. You've got to get bodies in the chairs, right? You've got to explode your meeting attendance. You got to focus on selling big events like they were the second coming. Big commitments happen at big events. You know that. Focus on being tougher than everyone else, okay? This is a big thing. You need to be, look, you're going to win big. You got to be a tough son of a gun. You just do. You just do, because on the way to building something great, there's a lot of stuff that happens. Have you not noticed that? Okay? There's a lot of disappointments. There's a lot of people that let you down. There's a lot of stuff that happens that you wish didn't happen. Has anybody noticed that? Am I the only one that notices that, right? Okay, so then if you're not really tough, people quit, chargebacks, all kinds of stuff. People say things about you. It's just a litany of things, right? So what happens then is you got to be tougher than most people. You got to let people know look, Juan, you got to be a tough guy to make this thing happen. You cannot be a weenie. You cannot be like everybody else and let what people think about you and what people say affect you if you're going to win big. You can't do that. You got to just keep focused on the vision and moving forward, right? I would take people on appointments, and it would, every now and then I'd have a bad appointment where people would we didn't close them, or they were just, they're not very bright, right? On that small percentage that just weren't too with it, right? And you just couldn't close them. You had those people, right? Those people, those were great. Those appointments were always great for me because I would be taken and I would say I had Juan with me and it was just a bad appointment. These people were the wrong kind of people or whatever, right? And they didn't go ahead. Or it was a dark house. Or something like that, right? Or we come back and we got commitments on the first appointment, right? And we come back with everything, and then they don't go ahead on the second appointment, right? And what I would do is I would say, man, that was an awesome appointment. See, this is perfect one. This happened like this. This is a perfect thing. I love when these things happen, when people, it doesn't go smoothly, because then it gets me a chance to see who I'm working with. Because one of the reasons I'm doing well at this one is I'm just tougher than most people. Most people are just complete wimps. They are the biggest babies ever. One little bad thing goes wrong, and they have their tail between their legs. They pack up their tent. They take their ball. They go home. They just quit over a little stupid thing like that. I can't stand working with people like that. People that are wimps that quit over a little a bad little situation like that. You're not like that, are you? I used to say that all the time to people. I used to have that conversation. As soon as that happened, I would do that, and then I would say, because then when they were thinking about quitting, I wanted them to remember that little conversation we had in the car. You with me? Yep. You said, you really did that? I absolutely did that. Absolutely. Right? Because I wanted them to understand you got to be tough to make this thing go, right? And you can't let little disappointments, a little chargeback, somebody quit, nobody showed up. You don't know that drives people out of the business? Those things drive people out of the business. And if they're not tough enough to hang when that happens, it's going to happen for everybody, for sure. So you might as well get them used to it and let them know that and see if they got the goods to keep going when things like that happen, all right? 29. Focus on, I already did that, I think. Loading your routine intents. 30. Focus on never showing quit or disappointment to any of your people, no matter how difficult things may be. Look, no matter how bad things are, all right, ever, as far as your people are concerned, they should absolutely never know anything's wrong. Ever. Right? Ever. I never, ever let anybody know anything was wrong. Ever. Okay? When my business, when Art did the flush in 1989, he did that thing. All of a sudden, my business was exploding. My business was doubling every year, okay? But my income was actually going backwards. I made $855, and then they did the flush, right? What happens is they promoted a bunch of people that did $3 and $4 and $5 grand in premium to RVP, and I promoted 28 RVPs in 1 month out of my base shop. 1 month. 28. Because I had 28 different people that did over $4 grand. Everybody got promoted automatically. So what happens then, right? My base shop disappears, okay, and my income, I still more than doubled my business the following year, and my income went from $855 to $700,000. So it dropped $150, and I doubled the size of my business. How excited would you be if you doubled the size of your business and your income dropped by 20%? Dan, how would you handle that? Would you be excited? You know who knew about that? Nobody. I never told one person. Nobody. I never talked about it. I never discussed it. I never complained about it. No one ever knew. As far as everybody was concerned, things were unbelievable. Right? I never, ever, ever, ever talked about what was wrong. I don't ever talk about what's wrong. You don't find me complaining. You ever hear about me and go, God, Hector sure was complaining a lot today when I talked to him. You ever have that? Never. Never happens. Never. You know why? Because nothing good comes out of that. Ever. I don't do it because there's no point in doing it. Now, if you have a solution, let's talk about that. But to complain, doesn't come out of my mouth. You don't hear me doing that, ever. Talk to my wife, ask her. I never do it. Don't do it at home either. Don't ever do it. I made a decision not to do that because that's bad energy. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to, because whatever you focus on, what does it do? Grows. It grows. So if you're focusing on what's wrong with everything, guess what that does? It grows. That's not good. All right? So I don't do it. Oh, come on, Hector. You're human. Yeah, I'm human, but I make a conscious choice not to do it. That's all. I just train myself exactly not to do it. I focus on what I want. What I want. That's all I focus on. What do I want? That's where my energy's at, okay? Focus on making your people feel you love them and care about them more than anything else. Martin, I'm on your butt all the time, right? Okay, but you know that I love you and I care about you, right? You know that, right? I mean, you don't have any doubt about that. I mean, I'm in your stuff all the time. I'm telling you what you need to do. But when everything's said and done, the way that I feel about you would never change because of what you do in the business or the numbers you do. The way I feel about you and Denise as human beings, no matter what you do, even if you quit, would never change. You don't ever have to worry about me caring about you and loving you. I might get in your stuff, and I might push you, and I might say, look, you got to get off your ass and go to work. I might do that, but that does not mean that I don't care about you. That you can take to the bank for the rest of your life, okay? So whenever I'm doing anything, you always know underlying that I love you and I care about you and I want you to win, and the reason I'm pushing you is because I want you to have what I have, okay? See, if your people don't feel that, they better be feeling that. And I think a lot of you don't convey that to your people. They don't know that. You better let them know that. They need to feel it. Because you want people to hang around. If they don't feel that, they ain't hanging around. They're not staying here long run. If they do, you're just lucky. Focus on passing negatives up and positives down. The other day, Juan had a rough day. Remember Juan? And you called me, and he was like, just venting, right? It wasn't really that negative, but he was venting, right? Tough day. And then I told him what he needs to do. He needs to hire more people, more direct, blah, blah, blah. Same thing I always tell him, right? So, and then he called, and he kind of apologized for doing that. I said, don't apologize. You're supposed to tell me that stuff, all right? I don't want you talking about that to Jose or Louis or Manuel or something like that. I want you telling me that stuff. To them, everything's perfect, everything's fantastic, we're growing like a weed, they're awesome. You pass negatives up and positives down. All right? Did you hear that? Yes. Negatives up, positives down. Never negatives down. Negatives down, you might as well shoot yourself in the head. Okay? It's dumb. You should never be talking about anything negative to your people. Ever. For any reason. Okay? You have a challenge, Lynn? Talk to me. All right? As far as your people are concerned, it's perfect. Okay? Focus on making people feel you love them. I already did that. Focus on winning for your partner, making them... one of the things that was a huge... if you don't have a partner, it obviously doesn't work. Maybe there's your parents or somebody else. But to me, making Jan feel proud of me and to feel like I'm the right person she selected to get married to is one of the most important things in my life to me. Having her respect me and to think that I'm special and to think that she's very grateful that she has me in her life is really, really, really important to Hector Lamarque. It's one of the most important things on this earth for me that she feels that way about me. I could not even imagine letting her down. I just can't. I couldn't do it. To me, that's not acceptable. And so one of the reasons I work so hard is I was constantly thinking about what would Jan think about me if I was, slacking off and not focused and not getting results. I actually would say that to myself all the time because when I walk in, I don't want her to go, here comes that jerk again. What a loser. You know what I mean? What could be worse than having your partner feel disappointed that they're married to you, that you're the one they selected as their life partner? What could be worse than that? Huh? To me, I don't know how you could look at your spouse and not give everything you have to be successful in your business and to provide for your family. I don't get it, honestly. See, I would work 20 hours a day. I would do whatever it takes to have my wife feel proud of me. I would. There's nothing I wouldn't do that, as long as it was legal, ethical, moral. I just would work whatever number of hours. I know, Juan, do you feel that way? I'm telling you, there's no way I'm disappointing my family. Not a chance. I don't care what anybody thinks, what anybody else does. I'm never going to disappoint my family because I want them to feel like I'm the one, that there could be nobody better than me. I think we should all do that. And if you're not married, you don't have a significant other, then maybe it's your parents. Maybe it's somebody that you admire a lot. I don't know. But there's got to be somebody. Your kids. Exactly. You have kids. Hey, you've heard me say that. I wanted my kids to think I'm their hero. Not a rock star, not a sports star, not a movie star. Me. In order for that to happen, you got to get it done. And they don't care about how hard it is. Or that people might tell you no, that you might get rejected, or that you have a dark house, or that you, right? What do they care about that? They just care that you get it done, right? See, like right now, my kids are working to starting to be successful. I'm able to talk to like my daughter who's in the acting business, which is a very tough business, right? You got to be incredibly thick-skinned and persevere to make that in that business. And I'm talking to her every day, and what am I telling her? I'm telling her, oh, I read this book. This is what this successful person did. Oh, I read this about this. This is what this. No, I'm saying this is what I did, Janae. This is how I did it. This is what I thought about. This is how I focused. This is how I got after it. This is what I did. Every time I talk, you talk to Janae and you ask her about the talks we have. She cries on almost every talk we have. I tell her exactly what I did, what I went through, how tough it was, how you need to stay focused, how you need to not quit, how you need to work on getting better at yourself, how you have to do. I tell her everything. I said, and I let her know what the difference is. She knows. And it's not a story about somebody else. It's about me. What's your story? Focus on having fun. After that little depressing talk, right? Have some fun. Look, I'm having fun all the time, guys. One of the most awesome things about getting financially independent is I don't do things I don't want to do anymore. I just don't. I don't want to do it. I don't do it. I get somebody else to do it. Or some things have to get done, but I pay them to do it. I don't do it. Anything I can get somebody else to do, I get them to do it. Honestly. Because then I have more time to do what I want to do, right? So I have fun. I have a lot of fun. I have a ridiculous amount of fun in my life now. And I do it intentionally. And I built a business that would allow me to have fun a lot, most of the time. And you can do the same thing too. But you got to have fun as you're doing it. You know, hey, you guys should like take your, what's going on? Take everybody to a Laker game. Take everybody to an Angel game or a Dodger game. Go to the comedy store. Get everybody together. Go to a comedy store. Go have fun. Go get everybody together. Go to the movies. Get everybody together. Have a little have a barbecue in your backyard with a music and fun. You know what? You got to get people feeling like, damn, these people are fun. These guys know how to have fun. What a great environment to be in. These guys are always having fun. They're always having a great time. That's what you got to do. Create that feeling in your base shop where it's fun. You guys have fun. Do some fun things. It can't just be all the time grinding. Okay? You got to think. Like the company took a bunch of the winners to Hawaii to have fun, right? So you go, there's a reason for all this stuff we're doing, to have fun, right? In the end, you all want to have fun, don't you? Yep. Well, have some fun along the way. You don't have to spend a lot of money to have fun either, by the way. If you have the right group of people, you can have fun doing about any silly thing, right? So have fun. Go to Dave & Buster's. I don't know. Do something where the team, when they do, the guys and gals that win, they're doing something, go have some fun with them. Do something fun. Okay? Focus on making your people feel like they're on a winning team and that by being part of it, they'll win too. So focus on winning. Right now, we're getting our base shop refocused on winning right now. We've got some competition going. We're going to get refocused on winning. This is going to be a winning base shop. We had a poor month in January. That's history. We're having an okay month in February. We're going to end up strong. Right, team? We're going to get this thing going, and we're going to end up with another month. And we're going to start moving to winning again. Right, everyone? Absolutely, okay? That's what we're going to do. That's what you need to do. Focus on never missing meetings. You should never miss a meeting. There's a bunch of people that miss meetings here that aren't here right now. That is completely ridiculous, okay? I don't understand it. I don't know how you can say on the one hand, I want to be financially independent, I want to build a big base shop, I want to win, I want to make $1 million a year, and then miss a meeting. This doesn't make any sense. It's not congruent. It's not congruent. You can't miss meetings, okay? Focus on putting meetings that have so much value, people can't wait. Do you feel like what I've done so far this morning has value?
Yes.
Oh, if you actually listen to what I said today and you implement it, you guys are going to start kicking some butt, okay? There's a lot of value here, I hope, okay? I'm assuming that there is, but I think there is, right? And that's how you get people coming back. The more value, the more they'll want to come back. The more energy you spend on trying to figure out what to do to create value, the more they'll want to come back. They'll want to be part of your team. Focus on sharing your winning example with your team. Constantly focus and talk about how you recruited someone or closed someone or got an appointment or prospected someone. That's the best thing. You see, what I used to do when I was really building a big base shop, what I used to do is every time I would close a sale, I would recruit somebody, I would do something, I was always talking to people about how I did it, Juan. I would say, look, this is what I called this guy. This is how I set the appointment. When I got there, this is what I did. This is what I said. This is how I did it. How I recruited them. This is what I said. This is how I recruited them. This is what they were talking. This is what they were concerned with. This is how I overcame that. This is how I recruited them. This is how I got them to the meeting. This is how I did this. This is how I did that. Mike, you should be talking about what, like right now you've recruited 3, 4 people this month. How many? 2 directs, okay, so you're probably going to have 4 to 5 by the end of the month, right? You need to make sure everyone in your base shop clearly understands when you talk on Saturday, how did you recruit them? What did you say? How did you say it? What were their objections? How did you overcome them? What did they say then? Then what did you say? How did you set the appointment in the first place? How did you get them to meet with you? How? How did it happen? They need to know how, Alan, how you did it. The more clear you are on how you did it, the more likely it is they're going to duplicate it. The more obscure it is how you did it, the less likely it is they're going to duplicate it. It's common sense. Okay? Focus on always being in the moment. That's where life happens. You can't experience anywhere else. But now, look, right, we're here right now, right? You can't be, like right now, think about this. I keep saying this because this is such a profound thing. Who has a problem right now? No, right now, right now. Do you have right as you're sitting here? Do you have a problem right now? Like, can you not breathe? Or are you like what? Huh? Not one of you has a problem right now. Right now, you don't have a problem. Now, you have some things that you think are issues, right? You have life concerns, okay? But as you're sitting here and you're hearing me speak these words right now, do you have a problem? Of course you don't have a problem. Right now, you're right here. There's no problem. You can't have a problem right now. As long as you're in the now, there are never any problems in the now. The problems are all in your mind, either in the future or something you did in the past. But right now, there's never any problems, ever, ever, ever in your life. For the rest of your life, you'll never have a problem now. Now, you have problems in your mind that you think are potential issues, but if you just stop here and you're just here, there's no problem here. There never is any problem here. The problem's always when you're there. But here, there's never problems. I don't know if I'm being too weird for you or not, but this is important for you to get, okay? Because your life happens now. It doesn't happen in the future, and it doesn't happen in the past. It happens right now. Your life is happening in a series of right nows. You with me? It only can happen now. Okay? So, like if you want to create a future right nows, like the future is only a bunch of future right nows. You with me? Right. So if you want better future right nows, how you manage yourself right now is going to determine the future right nows. Does that make any sense to you guys? Yes. Okay, so you've got to be thinking about what you're doing right now because that's going to influence what happens in the future right nows. But there is no other time but right now, ever in your life. Your life happens right now. The reason most people are unhappy and depressed and all these things that we get as human beings, right? Why we worry, right? Why we have fear, right? Because right now, are you in any danger? Is there anything to be afraid of? No, of course. And there never is, okay, right now. Okay? So what happens then, we worry because our mind is in the future. But if you're right now, there's nothing to worry about right now. There never is, by the way. Okay? So what you got to learn how to do is be where you are, is what I'm saying. Okay, because some of you, as you're hearing me, even you're here, but you're thinking about what you're going to do. Oh, when is he going to finish so I can get out of here? I got to get on this appointment. I got to get on the road, or I got to make this call, or I got to do this, or I got to. You're thinking, I know that some of you are doing that. So you're not even here right now. You're in the future, which means you're not living. So as when you're not in the present, you're not living, because that's where life happens. Right? All right. So last thing, focus on enjoying the process. Every step of the way, I enjoyed the process. Even the stuff that seemed challenging and difficult, I enjoyed that process because I knew it was a part of the process. I knew it wasn't the end. I knew it wasn't a permanent sentence that I was going to be, field training and driving all over God's creation and making all these phone calls. I knew that was a temporary thing, so I enjoyed that part of it, the journey, right? So you guys have different issues that you have to do. Like right now, Louis, you're going to have to work like you never worked before right now. Ken, Jose, Juan, Susanna, right? Martin, Lynn, Dave, come on. You're going to have to work like you've never worked before if you're going to get this thing going. What you've got to do as you're doing it, enjoy it, okay?